Okay, guys, welcome back. I guess I got cut off there. I had some streaming issues, so I was about 25 minutes into my video, and I was getting ready to wrap it up. I was almost to the end of my notes here, and it got cut off right at the end of a sentence, and I almost just let it go. But I really wanted to finish up my thought for the evening, and I want to apologize to all the good women out there. I'm not bashing on any good women, and even the women that I'm disagreeing with. I mean, you disagree with me too. I'm not one of them people that thinks they're right about everything. I'm just saying we've been incompatible as mates, as lovers, as friends, and I'm just ready to move on. And I've been, like I was saying there towards the end, I got cut off, but like I'm 50 and single, and it's like, well, yeah, because my ex-wife left me 11, 12 years ago. She was like physically the least attractive woman I had ever been with. She was not compatible with me in a whole lot of ways, but we had 5 children together. We were building a life together. We were going to be extremely wealthy together. For coming up from two poor families, we would have been the richest of the rich of our families, the wealthiest, and we'd have been retired and traveling the world by now, like full time. But she saw the grass was greener on the other side. Sometimes the grass is greener because it's full of manure. I heard a good one the other day, though. The grass is greener where you water it, and there's probably some truth to that. But anyway, right where I was wanting to finish up, I was just saying, I saw some relationship video because I was so heartbroken. Not after this last girlfriend. Um, Maybe she let me down easy. I mean, when we started fighting in the first 5, 6 months, and she was very, very, very physically attractive. Like I'm still over the top, insano, and attracted to her physically. But that's it. I have no attraction to her in any other way anymore. And that's what helped me move on. But early on in the relationship, when we first started, I want to say fighting, but it's like I didn't even speak. It was just she started snapping on me a lot, and she'd chase me off and then take me back, and chase me off and take me back, and call me to come over. And either I'd text her and say, hey, we can stay friends, everything's good, and she'd say, no, no, I love you, come back. Or I wouldn't call her or text her, and she'd call me and say, oh, I've been thinking about you, come over if you feel okay. And she said something like, well, I guess you'll be the first one to ever leave me. And it's like, well, I was never going to leave you. This is not something you need to state in a relationship. It's like you're trying to make it work forever. You don't say things like that. But she just made no effort after that. She was just like, well, I'll just take you back, or a million times, but I'll treat you like shit every time. And it's like, well, I'm just not. If a man with honor is not going to stay in that relationship, a man with any self-confidence and any pride and any dignity is not going to stay in a relationship like that. And I just don't see any women acting any different. And if you're going to be on a dating site, these dating sites, it's, oh my God, do you have a 1 in 1,000 chance on one of them dating sites? I don't think so. Not unless you're in the top 4 or 5% of physical attractiveness in men. I mean, if women can rate 70% of men and below average, I mean, you do not need to, well, maybe you do need to be a mathematician to figure that one out, but obviously it's 50-50, right? I was joking with some guys at work, like, do you know that half of the people here have a below average IQ? And they were arguing with me that I was calling people stupid. It's like, statistically, half of the people have a lower IQ than the other half. That is what average means. Like they don't even get it. So my point is, if 70% of men can be related below average, and then only, I mean, I'll give. I've heard the highest estimate is that women are basically looking for the top 20%, and I don't agree at all. But I'll say, okay, so 80% of men in America have pretty much no chance. To please a woman. Like it's almost as a joke. What are the 3 S's what men want? And I even said it to my ex-girlfriend because after once I fell out of love, it was about 5 months in, and she did the same thing 3 times in a month. And I don't want to repeat what she said, but it was disrespectful and basically like kicking me out of her apartment, townhouse. Just like, disrespectful words and dang it, saying that made me forget my point. I almost thought I go watch now. Um, anyway, I'm talking about the difficulties in relationships with women in America. The top 20% have a chance. Um, but really, I think it's probably more like 5 or 10 as far as physical appearance. And other than that, then it's like, well, if you're way above average wealthy, way above average prestige, and these are things that women can benefit from. And it's like, oh, that's what I was about to say with my ex-girlfriend. It was like the 3 S's. It's sex, no, it's sex, sandwiches, and shut up. And it was just like she would talk and talk and talk, and I talk a lot, but I didn't talk a lot at all with her because she did not let me speak. Um, which was funny because you would think a person that didn't want to hear you talk, and I wasn't arguing, I wasn't putting her down. We're just talk about anything, like you're trying to communicate in a relationship. So anyway, let's move on from that. That was just all part of the stories of why I got my passport today. And I've been talking to a woman in the Philippines, in Cebu City, Philippines, for a couple months now, and we're getting along great as far as video chatting and talking and texting. And I would say I am seriously considering going to the Philippines to meet her, but I think that would be a gross underestimate of my actual intentions. I am pretty much booking the flight and planning the trip out as we speak. So that's just a here or there. It's it's a complete health, wealth, and happiness series, and this could be well, it's going to be a great step in my happiness because it's going to be an amazing vacation and a tropical island paradise. Um, Getting away from the big cities and stuff in the Philippines, which aren't so awesome. But so anyway, where I was wanting to finish up the video is I didn't go to the gym today, just organized all day. But tomorrow, picking up my son again and doing the circuit workout in the treadmill, and we've been stepping up our game too. He's bulking up as a 13-year-old. He's probably within 5 pounds of the mass of my 19-year-old son, who's just shredded beef. He doesn't even need to work out. He just has a very thin metabolism, and this probably has to do with his childhood. He had pyloric stenosis when he was born. And so tomorrow's my last day of eating, so I'm going to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner again. I try to keep those meals as small as I can, and I know I said it, but then I just keep making these big meals. It's like I'm not used to it yet, but I've identified it. And my second to the last note here is the 1% better. And it's part of like books you read about habits, and there's some awesome stories about like the British cycling team back in I want to say 90s. And I don't know the whole story, but they had a coach that would just do every little tiny thing they could do, hire a different doctor to make sure they're getting the right supplements and medicate, cleaning the dust out of the inside of the van so no dust gets into the chain of this bikes, any tiny improvement that they could make. And it's a huge story that I'm cutting out the whole story, but they ended up like dominating the cycling world for like 10 years. But anyway, so when I thought of that today, I remembered my baby steps in the beginning. And, I was always looking for something to improve myself. I quit the coffee, and my sleeping has been better every day since. I mean, it's 5 to 10, and I'm like ready to pass out right now. My eyes are just almost closing on by themselves. And I quit the e-cigarette, which I haven't had a single puff since. And, I took baby steps, and then I started the fasting and the working out and the eating better. And so anyway, with the 1% better, it made me think, what baby step can I take? Something that I've thought of, something that I've mentioned as these videos have went on, but that I haven't done. Well, when I put my big plate of food for dinner, I made me realize like I should literally have cut it in half and threw it away or threw it in the fridge or something, but I didn't. But okay, I identified it. And another thing I have talked about lately that I hadn't done, I hadn't incorporated in my life yet. In the past I have, but is yoga. So all I did was just get on. There's plenty of apps like on the App Store that you can probably pay a low amount, but don't even bother doing that. You can just get on YouTube, and I typed in yoga beginner for men, That's all I typed in. And boom, it was a 10-minute, super basic, 8 poses, minute each pose, probably. I'm just guessing, with a 15-second break in between, whatever. And that's it. That's all it takes. And if I want to add that in, I am going to add that in. I'm probably going to do it just right quick after this video, because I didn't work out today. And it's a way to get your stretch and get your muscles warmed up a little bit and get lubed up and loosened up on your non-workout days. So I've been averaging working out about every other day, pretty good. And then on those other days, just do some light yoga. I mean, even if you do it 2 or 3 times in a day, it's not hurting you. It's mostly just stretching. Call it stretching if you want, but we'll call it yoga if you want. So that's something I'm going to try to incorporate. I'm kind of irritated that I had to make 2 videos, and I hope it comes across as one message. I'm going to try to link this video to the other video so people will just go from one to the next. But because that video just got cut off, I didn't get to say anything at the end. So anyway, jump on board with Jesus. He is the winner. There's no more game to be played. There's no overtime. You're on his team and you win, or you're not on his team and you lose. That's just it. That's the Bible. That's our creator. That's the creator of the universe. If you don't jump on board with Jesus, I believe you still have a chance. There's something called the 1,000-year millennium coming up after Christ's return, which could be within 5 or 10 years. Who knows? Could be 500 years away, but I think it's coming. Probably in my lifetime or shortly thereafter. But maybe not. But I'm looking forward to it either way. So Jesus loves you. I love you. And I'll check back in with you guys tomorrow evening.